And I'm here to tell you that if we are listening to our young people today, they are telling us that they cannot breathe. We must come up for fresh air. And with insightful vision, youth and young adults are analyzing the world and are offering to us solutions. Younger generations are God's agents in civil and religious society and provide the resources for discourse and action in this society. We are seeing and naming the contradictions and injustices, the violence and oppressions and inhumanities that we have to face. For example, it is a contradiction and an injustice that the government always has money to fight foreign wars. But whenever we are asking money for our schools and our shelters, they say that they have no money for that. It's a contradiction to develop a neighborhood and not give that neighborhood the resources it needs in schooling, in food, in shelter. That is a contradiction and an abomination to God. And youth are marching from Ferguson to Parkland, to Charlottesville and indeed Richmond, declaring that black lives do matter. And young adults are using social media. I know you may see them on their phones and you might wonder why they're on the phone so often. But young adults, we use social media to educate ourselves, to inform ourselves, and to participate in global movements. And younger generations are picking up the mantle as they push for legislation and advocate for new policies. And youth are pressing the local and state governments to close youth prisons and invest in poor and marginalized communities like ours. And as prophets of God, youth are disrupting a comfortable church culture that has somehow reduced religion to a personal insurance policy from hell in favor of a communal salvation that requires systems of injustice to fall. And youth are picking up the mantle and expanding their circle of care to include all of God's children. Our younger generations are causing the black church to finally take its head out of the sand and take its natural place in our communities as a pillar of freedom. But I wish it were always that easy. We must pause to acknowledge that Elisha never really asked for Elijah's mantle. Elisha, when given the chance, does not ask for the mantle, but rather he asks for a double portion of Elijah's spirit. The mantle, Second Baptist, is not enough. The mantle is not where Elisha's power and authority derive. It is and is always the Spirit. And Elisha needs the Spirit. And follow the text, if you will. Elijah originally had the mantle and the Spirit. And he struck the waters and they immediately parted. But for Elisha, the mantle alone does not part the waters. The English translation obscures this fact, but Elijah strikes the water 2 times. Elijah struck the water once and the waters were unmoved. And so he takes the cloak, the mantle again, and he cries out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elisha?" And only when he calls down the Spirit of God do the waters part. The Holy Spirit, it is that revolutionary power which comes to an oppressed and exploited people as they struggle to shape and escape powerlessness and institutional oppression. Elisha called down the Spirit. Let me tell you one thing, that this Spirit does not fall on an individual. It does more than just buck jumping and speaking in tongues. But this Spirit, the Spirit of God, falls on a people. And that is why Elisha's taking on the mantle and the Spirit is not complete until the sons of the prophet acknowledge it by saying the Spirit of Elisha is on Elijah. And then they come and they greet him. And they didn't see him part the waters because they were too far off at the distance. But they saw his Spirit. And I come to tell you that that same Spirit that same spirit that Elisha inherited is the Spirit of God. And when the road is tough, and when the going gets tough, and all you have to do is cry out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elisha?" When you don't know what to do, cry out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Nat Turner? Where is the Lord, the God of Harriet Tubman? Where is the Lord, the God of Gabriel Prosser?" And that spirit, the same Spirit of God, will meet you where you are. For the mantle does not hold our power, but our power comes from the Spirit of God. And that spirit is the same spirit that troubled the waters when God created the earth. That same spirit passed from Elijah to Elisha. And it's that same spirit that makes straight every crooked road. The same spirit that lifts up every valley. The same spirit that makes every mountain and hill low. It's that same spirit, the spirit that moves from generation to generation. The same spirit that traveled 42 generations because it came upon a man and a people who were oppressed. And that same spirit caused this man to say that the Spirit of the Lord was upon him because he was anointed to bring good news to the poor. And he came to proclaim release to the captives. And he came to recover the sight of the blind. He came to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord's favor. And so we say here at Second Baptist, Holy Spirit, we need your power. Holy Spirit, we need the power to love our enemies. Holy Spirit, we need the power to do right. Holy Spirit, we need the power to act right. Holy Spirit, we need the power to walk right. Holy Spirit, we need your power to free us from oppression. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on us because we want you to break us, and we want you to make us, and we want you to mold us, and we want you, importantly, to free us. There is a sweet, sweet spirit, and it is in this place. And I know that it is the presence of the Lord. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. God bless you.